Good morning, students. Welcome to today's online class. In previous video, we covered force acting on moving charge, Lorentz force. Based on this Lorentz force, one more important concept covered, nothing but velocity selectivity. So that is about the concepts covered in previous video. In present video, the continuation, very important concepts, nothing but cyclotron is there. It is very important for 2 marks, 3 marks and 5 marks is there. 2 marks means principle or use. 3 marks means label diagram plus use. 5 marks concept means complete diagram, principle, uses is there. So that is about such important concept is called as a cyclotron is there. First of all, what is the use of this cyclotron? Cyclotron is a device used to accelerate the charged particles. We know acceleration of charged particles means increased energy of charged particles is there. Cyclotron converts low energy charged particles into high energy charged particles. So that is the main use of, general use of cyclotron. With the help of high energy charged particles, we can bombard the nucleus system. When high energy charged particles are bombarded with the nucleus, we can study the structure of nucleus and use that. At the time of bombarding, some radiations are produced. That radiations consisting of some radioisotopes are there. Some radioisotopes are used in the treatment and diagnosis of some diseases are there. So that is also one more use of cyclotrons. Next, what is the principle and construction and working of this cyclotron? Principle means we know if any charged particle moving perpendicular to magnetic field is there. So any charged particle moving perpendicular to magnetic field, then the charged particle follows a circular path. So that is the main principle of a cyclotron. So any charged particle moving perpendicular to magnetic field, then the charged particle follows a circular path. In circular path, the required centripetal force is balanced by maximum magnetic force. So that is about the principle of a cyclotron. Next, what about the construction and working of cyclotron? First, observe what about construction of the cyclotron. The cyclotron consisting of two semicircular Ds are there. The first semicircular D, semicircular disk D1. It is in D shape. Halo semicircular Ds are there. The first semicircular disk D1, and opposite to this semicircular disk, one more semicircular disk is also placed, and it is named as a disk D2 is there. So here D1 and D2. Here D1 and D2 represents halo semicircular Ds, semicircular D sir. The first semicircular D, the second semicircular disk is there. The D1 is D2. Both open ends are facing towards each other. The separation between these two semicircular disks is very small. So that is about two semicircular disks. These two semicircular disks are like a horizontal plane. The first D1 is the second D2. Separated by small distances. Between these two semicircular disks, one AC source is applied. One AC source, and this AC source is also called as a frequency oscillator. So between these semicircular Ds, a frequency oscillator is connected. It is also called as AC source. And what is the use of this AC source? Because AC source having some frequency. The frequency of DC source is 0, but frequency of AC is 50 Hz or 60 Hz is there. in every 1 second, the polarity of AC changes by 50 times or 60 times is there. For example, initially this disk will have positive polarity, this disk having negative polarity. It positive means it negative is there. After some time, the polarities of disk are changes is there. Now D1 having negative polarity and D2 having positive polarity is there. So polarity of disks are changes by regular intervals of time is there. At regular intervals of time, polarity of AC changes is there. It is positive means it is negative. It is negative means it is positive. So that's why it is called as frequency oscillator. It is also called as a polarity oscillator. Every time polarity will be oscillating. Polarity will be changes at regular intervals of time is there. So that is the use of this frequency oscillators. And one more important point is nothing but here P is the between semicircular disk. P is there. Here P is called as a source of charged particles. The P is called a source of charged particles. We know source of sound means emits sound. Source of light means emits light is there. Here P means source of charged particles. Always emits a number of charged particles. But important point, emitted charged particles compulsory moving perpendicular to field direction. But semicircular disks are lies in horizontal plane. But these horizontal particles, moving particles, always passing perpendicular to field. So that's why in vertical plane, two strong magnetic poles are there. The first strong magnetic pole, nothing but north pole. The second magnetic pole, second strong magnetic pole, nothing but south pole. So strong magnetic poles are lies in vertical plane. These are lies in horizontal plane. That means planes of magnetic field and plane of moving charge is always perpendicular to each other. So that is about construction of cyclotrons. But once again, simply observe, cyclotron consisting of two hollow semicircular disks. Their open ends are facing towards each other and separating by small distances. Between semicircular disks, on AC source is applied, frequency oscillators. Every time polarities of Ds are changes. P is called a source of charged particles. And Ns represents two strong magnetic poles are there. So that is about the construction of a cyclotron. Next, what about working of this cyclotron? Initially, source is switched off, no charged particle coming from this source. No magnetic force is acting. Now the source is switched on. Source is on means it always emits a number of charged particles. This emitted charged particles always moving perpendicular to magnetic field. So initially, this emitted charged particles enters perpendicular to magnetic field and initially enters into disk D1. Their open end is there. Initially charged particles are enters into disk D1. Any charged particle enters perpendicular to field direction, then the charged particle follows circular paths. That is the principle is there. So initially charged particle enters into first D1. At that time D1 having positive polarity and D2 having negative polarity. When positive charge enters into positive field, the acceleration of charged particles takes place. Now in semicircular disk D1, this charged particle accelerates and completes this circular path and comes out from disk D1 and enters into disk D2. When charged particle enters into disk D2, now D2 having positive polarity, D1 having negative polarity. And charged particle enters into disk D2. At that time, the D2 having positive polarity and D1 having negative polarity. When positively charged particle enters into positive field, here also acceleration takes place. Here also completes a circular path and comes out from disk D1 and enters into disk D2. Sorry, comes out from disk D2 and enters into disk D1. At this time, D1 having positive polarity and D2 having negative polarity. Again, when charged particle enters into positive field, here also acceleration takes place and completes a circular path, comes out from disk D1 and enters into disk D2. When charged particle enters into disk D2, now D2 having positive polarity and D2 having positive polarity and D1 having negative polarity. So every time the positive charge lies in positive field. When positive charge lies in positive field, acceleration of the charged particles takes place. The energy of charged particles is increased. So this process is continuous until particles gain sufficient energy. So according to diagram you can observe. So every time radius of circular orbit is increased. The radius of circular orbit is increased automatically. The velocity of charged particles is increased. Energy of charged particles is increased. So this process continues until charged particle gains sufficient energy. After gaining sufficient energy, this charged particle comes out from outlet. The outlet. After gaining sufficient, the accelerated charged particle comes out from this outlet. So outcoming charged particle having more energy. So in this way, cyclotron converts or cyclotron accelerates or cyclotron increases energy of charged particles. So that is about working of cyclotron. Here one more important point. Every time the positive charge always lies in positive field. When positive charge lies in positive field, every time acceleration takes place. Every time velocity is increased, radius of the circular orbit is increased. So that is about the working of a cyclotron. Next, what about a derivation of cyclotron and what about the kinetic energy of emitted charged particle system? So observe the derivation carefully. In principle we explained. So any charged particle moving perpendicular to magnetic field, on that charge maximum magnetic force is acting. We know expression for maximum magnetic force. F max is equal to dQV. It is the expression for maximum magnetic forces. This maximum magnetic force is balanced by centripetal force. Under the influence of this maximum magnetic force, particle follows circular path. Inside this circular path, particle having centripetal force. We know centripetal force means mv square by r. This centripetal force is balanced by maximum magnetic force. Every time particle lies in circular path only. So equating, this one is force and this one is also force. Equating these two forces, this centripetal force is balanced by a maximum magnetic force. Simplify both sides, one d is cancelled. Then find expression for radius of circular orbit. So expression for radius of circular orbit, r is equal to, this r is moving right side and dq is moving left side. So r is equal to mv by dq. So this equation is explains velocity, radius of, every time radius of circular orbit is increased, radius of circular orbit is increased, velocity of the charged particle is also increased. Velocity is increased, automatically energy is increased. So every time velocity increases, energy is increased. Or from this equation, find velocity of charged particle. It is expression for radius. From this radius equation, find velocity. V is equal to dqr by m. So dqr by m. So that is about expression for a radius or a speed of charged particles. By knowing radius, now we can calculate time period. The particle follows a circular path. The time taken by the particle to complete one rotation is called as time period. The symbol of time period is nothing but capital T. General formula is time period means distance by speed. In one complete rotation, distance covered by the charged particle means circumference. The circumference of the circular path is nothing but 2 pi r by v. So it is the expression for time period of circular path. Or time period t is equal to 2 pi by v into r is the r means radius of the circular path, r means mv by dq. This V is cancelled. So expression for time period of circular path, time period of the charged particle, T is equal to 2 pi m by dq. The expression for a time period is there. By knowing time period, we can calculate frequency. A frequency means we know. A frequency F is equal to a reciprocal of time period 1 by T. The reciprocal of time period is called as a frequency. T means 2 pi m by dq. 1 by T means dq by 2 pi m. So it is the expression for frequency of charged particle. This frequency of charged particle is also called as cyclotron frequency. When applied frequency is balanced with the frequency of charged particle, every time the particle lies in positive field only. When particle lies in D1, at this time D1 having positive polarity. When particle enters in D2, at that time D2 having positive polarity. When applied frequency and frequency of charged particle both are equal, then only this condition is satisfied. Every time positive charge lies in positive field, every time acceleration takes place, every time energy of charged particles is increases. So this frequency is also called as a cyclotron frequency. Because applied frequency and frequency of charged particles both are equal, is there? So this frequency of charged particle is also called as cyclotron frequency, applied frequency. Now finally you can calculate the kinetic energy of charged particles. Kinetic energy means we know half mv square. M means mass of the particle, v means speed of the particle. So that is equal to half m into v square, the squaring of v. So every term on right side is also squaring. Squaring is b square, q square, r square by m square. So after squaring b square, q square, r square by m square, numerator denominator one enemies cancel, and finally the expression for a kinetic energy of charged particle, a Ke is equal to b square, q square, r square by 2m. So it is the final expression for a kinetic energy of emitted charged particle comes out from cyclotrons. Because cyclotron increases kinetic energy, the final kinetic energy of emitted charged particle is nothing but b square, q square, r square by 2m. The final kinetic energy depends on square of field. Final kinetic energy depends on square of charge, depends on square of radius, but kinetic energy is inversely proportional to mass. Mass is less means kinetic energy is more. Mass is more means kinetic energy is less. So that is about final expression for kinetic energy of emitted charged particles. Next, one more important point here. Observe the equation of frequency and time period. The frequency and time period depends on B value, Q value, M values. But frequency and time period, so frequency and time period are independent on speed and radius. Frequency and time period are independent on independent on speed and radius of circular paths. So that is about cyclotron. So that is about principal uses of cyclotron and what are the limitations of cyclotron. But just observe what are the limitations of cyclotron. Cyclotron is always accelerates charged particles. What are the limitations of cyclotron? Cyclotron is always accelerates the charged particles. So cyclotron never accelerates a neutron. It does not accelerate. So cyclotron never accelerates a neutron. Because neutron is uncharged particle. Cyclotron never accelerates a neutron. Next, one more important point, cyclotron is also does not accelerates electron. But electron having some charge is that negative charge. But cyclotron does not accelerate electron. Why cyclotron does not accelerate electron means because electron is a very lighter particle. Electron is least mass particle. So by gaining a small amount of energy, the electron immediately comes out from the cyclotron. So by gaining a small amount of energy, immediately electron comes out from the cyclotron. So that means electron does not stay long time inside the cyclotron. By small increasing of energy, it is immediately comes out. So we can't increase kinetic energy of the electron much more. So ultimately, electron does not accelerate neutron and does not accelerate electrons. It is also one more limitations of a cyclotron. And one more limitation is that if speed of charged particle, if speed of charged particle is comparing with the speed of light, if speed of charged particle is comparing the speed of light, if speed of charged particle is in order of 3 into 10 power 8, then those charged particles cannot be accelerated. Because if speed of charged particle is comparing with the velocity of light, then mass of charged particles is changes. With the increasing of velocity, mass of charged particles is increases. That is based on Einstein's relativistic mass theory. According to Einstein's relativistic mass theory, m is equal to m0 by square root of 1 minus v square by c square. Here m0 means rest mass of charged particles. V means speed of light. If speed of light is compared with, if speed of charge is compared with speed of light, then mass of charged particle is increases. That is not possible here. So that is about, it is also one more limitation of cyclotron does not, that means conclude that it does not satisfy Einstein's relativistic mass theory, does not obey Einstein's relativistic mass theory, it does not accelerate neutron, it does not accelerate electron, it does not obey Einstein's relativistic mass theory. If velocity of charged particle is comparing the velocity of light, those particles are also cannot be accelerating. So that is about limitations of cyclotrons. Next, based on this cyclotron, based on this kinetic energy of charged particle, one important CET question is there. It is based on kinetic energy of charged particle. We know a kinetic energy formula B square Q square R square by 2m is there. For example, 3 charged particles. A first charged particle means proton, second charged particle means deuterium, and third charged particle means alpha particles. So proton, deuterium and alpha particle are 3 different charged particles having different charges and different masses. All the 3 particles enters the perpendicular to same magnetic field. All the 3 particles are enters perpendicular to same magnetic field with the same kinetic energy. Then calculate the radius ratio of these 3 charged particles. Calculate radius ratio of these 3 charged particles. Radius of first charged particle is R1, second charged particle is R2, and third charged particle is R2. But how to solve this problem? Means observe the first charge means proton. We know charge of proton is 1e. Mass number of proton is 1. Second charge means deuterium. Charge of deuterium is also 1e. But the mass of deuterium is 2. And third, alpha particle. The charge of alpha particle is 2e. And mass of charged particles is 4. Mass of alpha particle is 4. So 3 particles having different charges and different masses. All the 3 particles enters perpendicular to same magnetic field, the same kinetic energy. So this problem is based on kinetic energy. Here all the particles having same kinetic energy. K is constant. Perpendicular same magnetic field, D is also constant. Here 2 is numerical, it is also constant. And finally q square r square by m is constant. But we have to find radius. So from this equation find r square value. So r square proportional, this r square proportional m by q square. R is equal to r square value m by q square. R means square root of m by q square, or root m by square root of q square is q. So radius proportional to root m by q is that. But based on this, find the radius ratio. R1 is to R2 is to R3. R1 means 1 root m1 by q1. R2 means root m2 by q2. R3 means root m3 by q3. We know m values and we know q values apply, that is equal to first root m1. Root m1 means root 1 by q1 1e is to root m2 by q2. Root m2 means root 2. Q2 means 1e is to root m3 by q3. Root m3, root 4. q3 means 2e. In all the denominators, e is cancelled. So radius ratio r1 is to r2 is to r3. Root 1 means 1, root 2, and third means root 4 means 2. So root 4 means 2, denominator is also 2. 2 to cancel 1. So radius ratio of all the three particles, the proton, deuterium and alpha particle becomes 1 is to root 2 is to 1. It is very, very important. So that is about one CET question based on this kinetic energy of charged particles. Next, based on radius of circular path, so next condition, one more CET question. It is mainly based on radius of circular path. We know radius of circular path r is to mv by dq. We know mv means momentum, product of mass and velocity is called as momentum. But based on this radius, again see three same charged particles. First particle means proton, second particle means deuterium, and third particle means alpha particle. So proton, deuterium and alpha particle are three different charged particles. Enters perpendicular to same magnetic field. V is same. All the three particles enter perpendicular same magnetic field with same momentum. In this condition, only momentum is constant. Previous case, kinetic energy is constant. In this case, what about radius ratio? R1 is to R2 is to R3. So again, the same data. Three charged particles. First charged particle is proton. We know charge of proton is 1e, mass of proton is 1. Second, the charge of deuterium is 1e, and mass of deuterium is 2. And third particle alpha, charge of alpha particle is 2e, and mass of alpha particle is 4. So three different particles. Enters perpendicular to same magnetic field. So B is constant. Same magnetic field means B is constant. With the same momentum, P is also constant. Then find the radius ratio. Here, momentum is constant, MV is constant, and B is constant. Then radius is inversely proportional to charge. By using this formula, radius ratio R1 is to R2 is to R3 is there. Here R1 means 1 by Q1, R2 means 1 by Q2, R3 means 1 by Q3. So 1 by Q1 means 1E, Q2 means 1E, Q2 means 2E. In all the denominators, E is common and cancelled. Then radius ratio 1 by 1 means 1. 1 by 1 means 1 is to 1 by 2. Or multiply with 2. Every term is multiplied with 2. Here 2 ones are 2. Here also multiply with 2. Here also multiply with 2 by 2 values 1 is there. So 3 particles enters perpendicular same angle with the same momentum. Then radius ratio is 2:1. So it is also one more condition based on radius of charged particles.